invitations, like the caterers, the raw materials which is used for food, the decorations, the venue. Replace the event with a function calculator. Likewise, the calculator performs different operations. Replace the caterers with addition, raw materials, additions, subtraction, venue, division. So when we talk about functions, we can say that a function is something which divides the entire thing into different groups so that it is easy to manage and it doesn't happen any clash with any other things. Like if there is a problem in the addition part, so that only the if we call only the addition part, then we can replace it and we can check it. So no need to check for the multiplication, division or subtraction. And likewise, if there is any problem in any other part of the program, then we don't need to look in the entire program. We can just look the particular section where is the problem, whether it's in the multiplication, division or subtraction. There are four types of function. So number one, it's no return, no parameter. Two, it's with return, no parameter. Number three, no return, with parameter. And the most hard, with return, with parameter. If someone learns the with return with parameter, then she can complete with no return no parameter, with return no parameter, and no return with parameter. It's a function for no return no parameter. So here we can see that the inputs are taken in the main function along with the operation that we want to perform, and the output is also in the main function. So here not a single value is returned and neither the parameters are given. So it's an example of no return no parameter, and we can see the code of no return no parameter. So here is the code of no return no parameter, and let enter two numbers. So here it is the so here we can see that the input, the operations, everything is done within the display function, or we can say that there is no work of the display function. We can enter it directly in the main function. So if we change the plus sign with the asterisk, that is for multiplication. So after we code so it's the first number is 8, second is 5, and then the operation is performed and the output is 40. So here neither the value is returned nor the parameters are given. So it's an example of no return no parameter, which is the easiest one out of all the four different types of functions. And nextly we can move on to other function, that there is a function modulus. So we know that modulus gives the remainder. So here we can see that the division is calling the modulus, and then in the modulus, and so it's no, with return no parameter, so there is no parameters passed from the modulus. So in the modulus function we can see that the input along with the operation is done, and the return result is returned to the division, the main part where the output is given. So we can see that in with return no parameter, so there is no parameter but the return is, so the final answer is returned to the main part and the output is here. So we can run the codes and look for it. So here is the code for with return no parameter. So we can see that the modulus function, int modulus, the modulus function is there, and then there is a main function where the division is calling the modulus, and then in the modulus part the input along with the function is performed, and then there is a return of the result. So now the result is returned to the main function, and then the division is getting the result from the modulus, and then there is the output. You can see that the remainder is division. So the output is in the main function. So after compiling the code, we can see let the two numbers be 10 and 3, and since we know that the remainder will be 1, so we can look for. Now we can go for the next part, that is no return with parameter. So here there is no return type but there will be a parameters. So the parameters are in float. So from since there is no return, so in main function we are taking the input, and then the inputs are passed to the product function. So a is assigned to p and b is assigned to q, and then the operation rest is multiplied pq, and then the return result. Since there is no return, so here the result is not returned but the output is there in the product itself. So we can see that. So it's an example of no return with parameter, and here is the code for no return with parameter. So we can see, so here the same thing, that there is no return type but there are parameters which are passed. So in the main function we are taking the input of two variables a and b, and then we are giving passing the parameters to the product function where the operations will be performed and the output will be given in the main function. And the product is, so let's just compile the code and we can see that there are two numbers for multiplication. Let's enter two numbers, let the two numbers 7.5 and 10. So we know the output will be 75. So let's wait for the result. So here is the result, that is 75. So since it's no return but with parameters, so the parameters 7.5 and 10 are passed from a to p and b to q, and then the operation is done which is contained in the result, and then there is the output in the product function, that is result. If you want, you can copy the codes and try it of your own. So here are the codes. So as you know that a is assigned to. Now we can go to the next part, that is with return with parameter, which is the most trickiest part in a function. So here we can see that we have given the return type float along with three parameters, that is float, float and integer. So in the int main we are taking the choice from the user, that is addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, modulo, division, which gives the remainder. So there will be in the print screen that first time he will get the option to choose addition, then subtraction, then division, multiplication, modular division, whichever function the user want, the user can enter, and let the user be take the choice of 3, that is division. So here in the switch part we can see that directly the option is given to case 3 where the division is done. So there are two numbers, and after performance of the division the final answer is stored in u, and the u is returned to the int main part where is the output. There we can see the output is there. So here the result. So firstly the two integers will be assigned in a and b, and then the after the performance. So here the user input is transferred to L, and here we are using the switch case. So first the input will be checked, and then if for case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4 and case 5 as the user inputs, so it will be gone to case 5, and then the final answer will return. Here we can see that in the modular division part, so each and everything that you have gone till now. So from here the return is done. So 10 and 3, let's take for modular position, and for 10 by 3 we know the remainder is 1, so it will be returned to the rest, and then there the output, so the remainder will be 1. So we have got the codes for, it's a simple calculator: addition, subtraction, division, multiplication and modular division to find the remainder. So the user can enter the choice, and as per the choice, the choice will be transferred to L. From there in the switch case, we can get for case 1 we will get the addition, for case 1 we will get the addition, for case 2 we will get the multi subtraction, for case 3 we will get the division, for case 4 it will go to case 4 we will get the multiplication, and for case 5 we will get the modular division, which gives the remainder. So as per the user input, so as the user will, so there is a return type we have seen already. So let's just compile the code. So we can see that as per the, so there is a choice for the user. So as per the user input, the functions will be called. So let's input the 4 for multiplication, and then we know the two numbers for multiplication. So 64, 65 and 65, the two numbers will be there. So the answer is 4225. And then, so here we can see for other functions, so it will work for the same way. And now let's give something which is out of the choice. So let's enter something which is out of the choice. So let's enter 7, and then it will give the wrong choice, which is given in the default part, which is a part of the switch case. We know this of the switch case. So if someone wants, they can copy the codes, write down the codes and use it. And if you have any questions left, you can give it in the comment section. Thank you.